Jacques Martel, hello.
Hello, Marylin.
Thank you very much for being here with us and taking this time.
Sure.
Jacques, you have quite a background, as I mentioned, and I've just discovered. Author of 14 books, international lecturer, trainer, therapist, a good, beautiful, rich background. You generously share lots of wonderful information. Thank you for all of that. I also noticed the common thread of the word word. You were a TV host, so communication takes up a lot of space.
You know, Marylin, just a small point here. In my personal life, at a certain point, I didn't have the same birth date, and my life path was the life path 3, which is communication.
Yes.
And at one point, I found a birth certificate that was 2 days apart, which gave me life path 1. So for 50 years of my life, I had life path 3, which was communication. And then after that, I had life path 1, which is about developing
So
things.
the two go together.
Yes. And I've noticed that I kept life path 3, but I'm also using life path 1 to put things forward, to innovate and do new things.
It allowed you to perfect your communication skills and then launch what you love.
Yeah, of course.
So, in the MOTS, I'm coming to your bestseller, the book through which I discovered you, which is a great dictionary of ailments and illnesses that include MOUX, right? Because it teaches us that. You've created various techniques, including the healing technique, the effect of words with monosyllabic pronunciation. What is that, by the way? Because we talk about it in the...
Yes, so in the power of the words that free me, because with words, it's the monosyllabic integration technique, which is an emotional healing technique. So it consists of reading a discomfort, an illness, or other form of text, syllable by syllable, and taking a second for each syllable. And so I've been using this technique since 1993. And in the workshop, Rediscovering Your Child Within, little Marylin can write to Big Marylin, and Big Marylin writes to Little Marylin. And we read the phrases syllable by syllable. But when we use monosyllabic in the Encyclopedia of Ailments and Diseases, it can bring up emotions in the process of emotional liberation.
You talk about this exercise in the book, which...
It's extremely important. It's one of the most fundamental exercises that people should use.
It also allows you to let go, to become aware of what you feel, to
liberate your emotions.
Yes, exactly. Today we're going to talk about the book, The Power of the Words That Free Me. Who's who? Who's part of it, I would say? Well, I found the connection with the other book, The 5 Steps to Healing, where you talk about the first step being knowledge. Yes, I learned a lot from your book, The Power of the Words That Free Me. Now I heal words differently, and you provide so many valuable tools in this book.
It allows you to be more aware, and it also allows me to, when I say me, I mean each of us, to bring me more freedom in my life. Sometimes my mentor used to do this, just by leafing through a magazine, like National Geographic, with all of the countries and all that. I'm connecting with the photos, and I'm able to feel that to be here in this place, in Bolivia, and sometimes I would say, oh, it's such an interesting country. And people would ask, oh, you've been there before. And I wasn't sure if I should say yes or no.
So you were really connected.
Well, yes, yeah, I was connected.
That's true. I'd like to talk about the word thank you, which in French has the same number of letters as the word love in French.
Yes, so in French, M-E-R-C-I is the same thing as A-M-O-U-R. But in English, what's interesting here is that you say thank you, and thank you, on the U, you can use H-U. And the H-U is a spiritual mantra that we talk about in The Power of the Words That Free Me. There's a chapter about it, and it's a spiritual mantra. and it's the most elevated sound that can be pronounced with the human voice. So when we say thank you, it's like saying thank you to the divine energy. So the chant you, written HU, but it's pronounced YIOU. And now I realize that you've probably seen my face change.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That happens a lot, especially because my vibrational rate increased. And it changes my appearance a little.
And it's crazy how I feel inside. It's like there's a crystal. I feel myself growing, as if I were about to be. I think that's the effect of these chants.
Yep. Well, a mantra is a sound that helps raise vibrations, open consciousness. And there's several mantras, like the Om, which is well known to Buddhists, that brings you to the mental plane, but not higher, in the worlds of matter, energy, time, and space, which is the fourth plane. And the U can bring you up to the 12th plane. And it's a very ancient mantra that was known since the time of the Egyptians, or even longer before. But in the previous decades, it's more of a spiritual organization in the United States that made it more widely known. And I've been using it for almost 40 years.
For you, is reciting mantras part of your personal practice?
Well, occasionally. But it's more like, even if I don't practice it, it's still part of me. And like this mantra, the qualities of the mantra are opening of consciousness, protection, and healing. And at each conference, when I give a conference on emotional healing, I use this mantra to say that it's a mantra for emotional healing, protection, or opening consciousness. And often I'll use this mantra in any type of conference because these three aspects are present in this mantra. There are other mantras sometimes I'll use will be more specific for other subjects, but this mantra has those three qualities.
In your book, The Power of Words That Free Me, you give an explanation of the exercises that you find.
And I also give the reference about the Egyptians, the Sufis, and all of that, so people don't think that it comes from just a spiritual organization in the United States. That's not the case. A mantra doesn't belong to anyone. A mantra doesn't belong to any religion. Even if Buddhists use the word a lot, that's not a Buddhist mantra. The U isn't a mantra from a spiritual organization. It's a mantra, it's a sound. There's no copyright on it. It's just a sound, and that's all.
And it's beneficial for everyone.
Yes, for everyone. But the conference I did in Paris on mantras, a girl came up to me and said, "Oh, that's perfect, Mr. Martel. If you only knew, I'm a Buddhist. But when you use the U chant, it gave me so much energy." And I said, yes, that's it. Continue to be a Buddhist and keep doing the U chant. It doesn't belong to any religion. You can be Catholic and do the U chant. You can be a Muslim and do the U chant. You can be any religion. It's universal.
Jacques, we talked about you and thank you because, well,
Yes.
as a foundation,
Yep.
we talked about thank you because you invite us in with the power of the words that free me. You use it a
Yep.
lot in your
Well,
commitment.
I explained the technique of thank you as much as possible, saying thank you. I see a sign, it says, next exit here for some town. Well, thank you. Thank you for the people who put the sign there. Well, yes, he was paid for it, but thank you. It helps me. Thank you when the waiter comes along to bring me something. I say thank you. I look at them in the eyes, ask them their first name. Usually if it's a waiter or a waitress. Thank you, Bridget, if she's a waitress. Thank you, Alan, because you brought the dish. And more that I say thank you, thank you, thank you, it increases the effect of gratitude in me. So what am I attracting in my life? If I have more and more gratitude, I have a better chance of attracting gratitude into my life. Thank you to the trees for being there. Thank you. We benefit from their presence, and we benefit from their beauty.
It's like I'm saying to my brain, I'm ready.
Of course, yes. Thank you to people who put the pavement on the roads. With my car, I benefit from it. Thank you for the mechanics who made the car. You know, when you go into shops, the doors open themselves. Well, I have the impression that I'm in a five-star store, and doormans are opening the door for me, and it makes me feel important. And I say thank you. You know, the doors open themselves for me. I'm that important. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jacques.
And it develops that feeling of gratitude.
In The Power of the Words That Free Me, you talk about thinking more. It's about speaking more in terms of more
Yeah,
versus less.
and that's an exercise. Because several exercises are in the book The Power of the Words, involves getting used to saying the word more. It's more expensive. It's more cheap. It's more far. It's more close. It's more difficult. It's more easier. So what happens is I'm thinking of more and more and more. So if I want more money, my brain is already used to do more and more. And I've already covered part of that ground. So if I want it to be more easy in my life, then there's already a part in my brain that has more, and in my subconscious. So there's already a part of opening for the more and more and more. And you know, Marilyn, sometimes well, I could have a lot of worry, you know, like I'm deep in shit. And I tell myself, no, it's going well, it's going well. But that's not reality, is it? I'm a practical guy. And sometimes people ask me, what did you study in? And I tell them I studied to become an electrical engineer. And I look to see if they find it weird. But basically, you have to be realistic. So when I say it's shorter, it's realistic. When it's longer, it's realistic. When I say it's more economical, it's realistic. I'm staying within the realms of reality. Yes, it can be more difficult, that's true, right? But instead of using the word less, if I'm using the word less, I'm in the energy of less. And so rather I'm in the energy of more. To tune, to program myself to have more in my life and more positive things.
Yes, it's important. There's something you also say in The Power of the Words That Free Me. Now I'm becoming aware of that. I've never seen those words like that. It's the words always or never that you say that explain eternity. Oh my God, that's good.
Yes. If I say always, it's always for eternity. But the important point here is, let's suppose I can say to someone or I can say to myself, I'm always late. Maybe I'm late 90% of the time. But if I'm always late, my brain will arrange to add 10%. So it becomes true that I'm always late.
Oh, yeah? So it's counterintuitive.
Yes, or I never win. So one time, years ago,
This always happens to me.
I won a trip to Guadeloupe with a bank I used to deal with. And now this was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I told myself I can't say I never win anymore because I just won. But I can use the always or never positively. Let's say I have problems in my life when I was younger. No matter what problems I have, I'll always get through them. And you notice the person has problems in their life, but they always find a solution. It can be positive. But you have to be careful when you're using always and never.
Only when you attach it to something positive. It's like a language.
Because if I say I never win, maybe I had a 5% or 10% chance of winning. But then I just remove this chance.
Yes, with the never.
Exactly. Never is never.
And we add forever.
My subconscious will register it so that it becomes true, that it never happens. When in reality, maybe I had a small chance, but then I blew that chance. Like I can say I'm always protected. I'm in my car, I'm driving around, I'm always protected. See? So there I'm putting the odds in my favor.
Oh, yes, of course.
I could be the best driver in the world. Somebody could change lanes and hit me from the front.
So if I were to have an accident, I'm protected. I'm always protected.
Yep, that's it. You'll be warned or something's going to happen. I'm always protected.
But you know, while reading your book, The Power of Words That Free Me, I realized that I was paying much more attention to what I said. I brushed it up. Was it correct? Not correct? Or...
Marilyn, in relation to that, Sometimes we'll use some words that have a negative ending. Instead of thinking, oh, I made a mistake. No, you say thank you. What I'm saying thank you to here, that thank you that I am aware of it, so I can change it and not make the same mistake.
A mistake above it all.
Oh, I made a mistake. No, thank you that I'm aware. Before, Marylin, I corrected people 3 or 4 times. And after 4 times, I started to get impatient. Until I went to a conference in California with someone, a 23-year-old guy who had become a millionaire at 23, who was the founder of Success Magazine. And he would say, there are words that we use often. It can take up to 200 times because it's recorded in our brain. So we need to change it. So I told myself, wow, 200 times, where I get impatient after 4 or 5 times. So I changed my way of thinking a bit here. And now I'm much more tolerant of people, because sometimes it can take up to 200 times. When you've been saying it for 10 years, 20 years, 30
Always
years.
the same thing.
Then you say, oh, it's terrible.
Then there are certain words that are popular depending on the era. Do you know what you do when you say, it's hell? It's like
Yep.
that for me when I listen to teenagers talking. It's hell. They're like certain trends
Yes,
in words.
well, sometimes people say, well, for me it means, listen, my brain, my subconscious is a computer. It's like incredible. People say, oh, it's incredible. I say, you don't believe it? Well, you just told me it's incredible, so I can't believe it. It's incredible. And sometimes I'll say to people, do you realize what you just said? And people have no idea.
Well,
It's
no,
automatic.
because incredible, they can say, oh, it's incredible that this is happening to me. Or, oh, that's incredible. There's a very different connotation.
Well, incredible is incredible. It is what it is. You can type it in a computer and you'll find a definition of incredible. That's it. So it gives me a power in life that I can use to give myself more freedom. That's why the book is called The Power of the Words That Free Me. You see? So the conscience part that I have can help me free myself more. So there's comments from people who have seen the change. But the main difficulty for people who put this into practice, who do the exercises, the main issue that people come to me about this, even if I do everything that I'm supposed to do in the book, the positive formulations, the more, the thank yous.
Which will require work from me, because we have to change the way we think.
You'll continue to hear from your family, from your neighbors, the negative formulations. Negative, and that gets stuck in my brain. So it requires me to stay vigilant, because you run the risk of creating an imprint on a negative level. And also, when I use positive formulations, at some point, I'll start to feel the negative formulations, the formulations that other people use. I feel the negative energies that I didn't feel before. That's like a smoker who's been smoking for 20 years, then they quit. They can't tolerate somebody who's smoking around them, even though they've been smoking for years. They can't stand it.
Because each word has an energy.
Yes.
All of that is
yes.
very true. Because, you know, when you wonder how we put that into practice, in your book, The Power of the Words That Free Me, there are plenty of techniques, plenty of tools. But you too add 2 charts. There's one that's precisely the expressions, and you have us do an exercise that I tested here, and that I really liked. It's about the feelings inside ourselves. When we read the word, what does it feel like? So I can understand that those who put this into practice, when they hear someone speak negatively, it's a bit like your chant. The chant of who earlier that resonated within me. Something happened.
Well, speakers, Marylin, that have success in businesses or whatever, sometimes you'll listen to their lectures. They don't use negative formulation. Sometimes I've always wondered if it's because they were told not to use negative language, or at some point if they felt it wasn't necessary and they stopped using it. You see? So it's very important. Especially the words. For example, in a negotiation or in a relationship with colleagues at work, or with relationships
With the children? When we talk to children?
with children, with the family, You see, to use these positive formulations that are completely true. It's not some type of.
So it's felt.
Yes. Yep.
It's just empty words. How do we gently raise awareness among our loved ones? They may not have read the book. They may not be open to it since we've heard a lot of negative things. Fine.
Well, that's why we make these videos. Because sometimes when we talk about it to people close to us, sometimes there's resistance. Whoa, he's trying to instill his beliefs in me. So then he pulls back. There, just go watch the videos. After they say, oh, that guy's weird. Or maybe, oh, that's actually pretty insightful. They're more open-minded. They'll take what they want from the video. But, well,
But it's going its way. Sometimes they listen once, they either agree quietly,
yeah, that's
and
it.
see the change in their well-being.
In the book, it's the same thing. In the book, like we talked about earlier, it is the I. So when I read the I, my brain keeps registering it. And it makes its way over time. It makes its way.
So in the book, if we want to harness the power of the words that free me, we find techniques. Tables with expressions, there are guided meditations.
However, we don't do this overnight. As I said, a word you've been using for 20, 30, 40 years can't be changed in 24 hours.
To be forgiving of yourself.
Yes.
And to say thank you for our small
Yep.
steps.
We say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to life. Thank you for knowing that we can change and to know that I can open myself more and access more freedom.
And for me, well, this allows me to say thank you to Jacques Martel for our one-on-one together. And thank you for creating all of this, as well as sharing your knowledge and making a difference in the world. So we've probably piqued people's curiosity. We can see you on your YouTube channel, Jacques Martel. We can also go to atma.ca or jacquesmartel.com since you have videos.
Yep. JacquesMartel.com in one word.
So we have something to follow you and changing our lives day by day with everything you have circulating around to help people. And 14 books. That's not nothing. Jacques Martel, thank you very much.
And thanks to you, Marylin.